Brilliant. We are recording. No one can see you, but I do need to do my admin. So we'll start standing for earth sequence. I'm not going to keep us standing still, so don't worry about seizing up and whatnot. I know that is, I hate standing starts when there's loads of breathing because my hips and my back just start to really tighten up. So we're not going to stay still. Don't panic. So come to your comfortable standing position. Remember, with earth sequence, you can leave out any of the folds that are too deep or uncomfortable, or swap them in for ones that you like. Feet want to be under the hips or maybe a little wider in more the Tai Chi way or the Qigong way, your choice. Gently draw up, so no stiffness in the body. We're going to keep liquidity, and everything about this practice is about calming the central nervous system. So you can, if you want to close your eyes and not panic about the pattern, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so let's loosely weave the fingers just in front of you. And as we inhale, draw the hands up towards the throat. Exhale to gently draw the hands down. Inhale to sweep the arms forward and up, really soft. And exhale to circle out. I know you're all really familiar with this, so you can work at your own pace. 2 more like this. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale forward and up, all the way over the head. Exhale out to the sides. And again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach all the way up. It's a nice continuum of movement. Exhale to the sides. Let's introduce a very, very soft forward fold, bending at the knees, not to the ground, just halfway down. Inhale up. Exhale, soft knees, just a little crouch there. Inhale, circle, sweep all the way up. Lovely. And exhale, circle out. 2 more like that, as softly as you want. Inhale. Exhale, very soft fold. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, circle out. Let's do 1 more of those and then we'll deepen it. Inhale. Exhale, very soft fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, circle out. This time, if you can, soft forward fold with palms to the floor. It's not obligatory to go all the way down. Inhale up. Exhale, soft forward fold. Go as far as your body will let you this time of the day. Inhale, sweep forward and up. Keep those knees bent until you get to the top. Exhale, circle out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Lovely. Exhale. 1 more of these. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach all the way up tall. And exhale. So if your legs are cool, you can keep a little bend, but it's a hinge from the hips this time. You don't have to go all the way to the floor. Inhale, hands to heart. Exhale, hinge from the hips. All the way as far as you can go. As you inhale, dip the knees to come up. Only lengthen the legs when you're at the top. Exhale, circle out. Inhale, hands come up. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Inhale, soften the knees on the way up. Exhale, circle out. The last one of these. Inhale. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, circle up. Lovely. Exhale, circle out. The next one's a squat. You can squat right the way to the floor, or you can take a high squat. So you have your choice of a deep squat or a high squat. You choose. Toes can point out if that helps. Inhale. Exhale, dip the knees, sit right into whichever kind of squat you like. Inhale, reach up. It is early in the day for this, so you might just want to, soften it. Exhale out. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. The last one of these. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let's take the legs out a little bit wider, not too wide, just a little bit. We'll turn the right toes out to the side and we're going to rotate our upper body to the right. Hands still in the same position. Inhale, draw up. Keep the right leg long to start with. Exhale, hands come down, bend the knee right over the ankle. Be disciplined. You can see your whole foot. Inhale, lengthen the leg as you reach the arms up. And exhale out to the side. So don't lean towards your leg. Inhale, hands to the throat. Exhale, bend the knees. Bend the knee just over the ankle. Inhale, reach up and lengthen the leg. Exhale out to the side. A lot of discipline in this movement. Inhale, hands towards the heart. Exhale, bend the knee just over the ankle. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, circle out. 1 more. Inhale, hands to heart. Exhale, reach forward, knee over ankle. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, hands out to the side. Just swivel the legs over to the other side. Rotate. Inhale, hands draw up. Exhale, reach forward, knee over ankle. Inhale, lengthen up. Tall. Exhale, out to the side. It's quite a small movement, this one. Inhale, hands to heart. Exhale, knee over ankle, reach forward, but don't lean. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, out to the side. Last one like this. Inhale up. Exhale, reach forward, bend the knee. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, circle out. Lovely. Turn both feet forward, but let's keep the heels in. Inhale, bring the hands to the heart. Exhale, hinge from the hips, but bring a little bend to the knees. So it's very soft, all the way down towards the ground. And we're just going to stay down. So you can lengthen out your legs as much as you want, depending on how warm you are. Bring your heels behind your toes if you want, depending on how warm you are. And just rest down here, upside down. And hopefully you've not gone so wide that you've gone into an unduly deep stretch. So we want to keep this calm energy that Earth Sequence encapsulates. I'm going to bring that down to the mat, to our reclining work. So we are going to end up lying on our back. So if there's anybody who doesn't want to follow my transition method, you can make your way to lying down on your back safely, carefully, while keeping your calm. Otherwise, you can walk your hands forward in this wide leg fold as long as your hands are near the ground. If not, come to ragdoll. Bend the knees, feet closer together, and bend the knees until you can get your hands down. We're going to come towards a gentle dog. So just walk your feet back under the hips and gently back. Keep the knees bent, and then draw the knees down to the ground. And you can either swizzle your feet around and come to your back, or you can cross your ankles, walk your hands back, and roll over your feet so that you're ready to recline. Keep all that calm in. So let's try not to fling around too much. Once you're on your mat in position, feet flat on the floor, knees bent, and roll down carefully with just little bit of control. So draw the spine all the way down to the ground. And let's take the arms all the way up and overhead. Press the fingers back towards the wall behind you. Press the toes up towards the ceiling. If you can, lengthen the legs. You don't have to stay lengthened out for very long. If you find it tricky, just want to get that feeling of lengthening up. So while we're here, can you move your frame of mind into thinking of everything that we're going to do lying down as potentially a standing posture? Not all of them work this way, but when your feet are pointing up like this and your arms are in the air, you are in tall mountain pose, but just lying on your back. So permutations is key in this work. Okay, so let's just soften it a little bit more. We'll bring the hands down by the sides. We're going to bring the knees in towards the chest for a little rock and roll. Obviously, this does not translate particularly, although it is a squat, essentially. This is a squat. It's a squat lying on your back. So have a little rock and a roll here. Nice. And we'll take a banana stretch. So once again, lengthen the legs out, arms overhead, right ankle over left and right wrist in left fingers. And this is also a standing posture. So point your left toes up like you're stamping your foot onto the floor, and then keep your feet where they are, but wiggle your upper body over to the left. Banana stretches are a standing posture. I don't often do them standing, but they are a standing posture that it's nicer to do lying on the floor. This is a lovely side stretch. And if you think about this, there's a lot of balance involved in this if you do it standing. So you don't generally go very far because you want a feeling of length on both sides of the body and you don't want to topple over. Keep breathing through all of this. And when you're ready, let's come back to center and switch sides. Left ankle over right, left wrist and right fingers. Keep your feet where they are. And wiggle your upper body over to the right. Point your toes up as though you are crossing your feet while standing on the floor. Lovely. So can we start to bring a little engagement now through the whole of the abdomen? If you were standing, your pelvic floor would be lifted and your abdomen would be gently drawing in. You would not necessarily be aware of that, but we need to replicate that little bit of firming that happens through all the way through the spine. So a gentle engagement through the whole of the abdomen is quite important. Let's bring the hands to heart. And you can release your hands at any point. The hands, elbows stay tucked in, thumbs rest on the breastbone. And just to start with, I would like to keep the left foot on the floor with the knee bent because I don't want this to become too hard too quickly because it does get hard very quickly. Let's lengthen the right leg up towards the ceiling and stamp the ceiling with your sole, the sole of your foot. And from here, keeping your hands to your heart and gently drawing your belly in and keep the natural curve in the lower back. So try not to flatten it down. Start to exhale to lengthen your leg down. So we're waking up the abdomen. We're going to do 4 on each side maximum. You can stop if it's too much. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Why are we keeping hands to heart? Because it increases the intensity without bringing that intensity too much into the back. So you don't have your anchors, but you do have your foot flat on the floor. So that does help a little bit. You can bend your right leg if you want to soften even more. And this is my 4th rep. On the 4th rep, I will finish by putting my foot all the way down. And then switch to left leg. So no special anything, just switch sides, 4 on each side. I'm working really hard to keep the rest of my body quite stationary. If you do need to support yourself with your hands, please do. Arms can go out wide with the palms down. The effort really should not be so much in your back. There'll be a little bit of work in your back, but it's mostly a very gentle. Well, I mean, it's gentle for me, but for some people, this is a lot of effort. This is my last rep on the left. Yeah, just engaging through the front of the body, and the thigh is awake, hopefully. Lovely. Let's come back to center and let's bring the hands down. You can use a strap for the next bit if you wish to, because I really want to get the feeling of length and openness through the legs. But if you're happy to do it without a strap, we're just going to lengthen up the right leg. And you can either put your strap around the ball of the foot or weave your hands behind the thigh, just whatever works for you. Keep stamping the ceiling with your foot and draw the leg in until you get a good stretch along the back of the leg. You can relax this leg, it doesn't need to be tensed up, but you can keep your abdomen all the way through from pelvic floor all the way up to the top of the spine, just a little bit switched on. So it's like you're hugging yourself from the inside, squeezing in. I know that's complicated instruction, but keep it in mind, and in time it starts to make sense. You can experiment and see if it is possible, even if you bend your leg, to lengthen out your left leg. So you might need to bend your leg to make that happen, but this is going to give you an idea of what this posture looks like if you were standing up. We're just experimenting here to see, whilst also lengthening out the back of the right leg. For the sake of the stretch, if you have lengthened out your left leg, can you rebend it? We want to take the right leg out to the side. Now, can you do this in a way that gives you the best stretch and the best sort of momentum in your body so you can keep your left hip down? So if that means doing a frog leg, bending the knee, in fact, everyone should try this and see if it works better. You can bend your right knee and take the leg out to the side and see if that just gives you a slightly better hip opener and a slightly better stretch and a more manageable sensation without the body rocking over. So right knee is bent at a right angle. Now from here, if you were to carefully lengthen out your left leg again, like you're standing your left foot on the floor, you'll see this is a posture that we've done in class before. I forget what it's called. I really do. I think it's, this is a version of Krishna, isn't it? So here you go. You've got a nice hip opener. You've got a stretch, a much more moderate stretch for the inside of your right thigh. This feels quite good. If you're comfortable, you can start to squeeze your right knee, weave your hands around your right shin or the back of the thigh and squeeze your right knee in towards your armpit. Keep your feet switched on, because remember, we're, to the best of our ability, thinking about what this might be like if we were standing and doing this work. So feet are staying switched on. Gently drawing the navel back towards the spine, trying not to let the ribs flare out too much, but that does happen sometimes. A little hip compression here. This is also a standing balance posture. It's half a posture called, I think it's called Flamingo, actually. And then on an inhale, you can bring the knee to center, lengthen out your right leg. You can bend your left knee and just shake out your right leg. You can shake it out lying on the floor, or you can shake it out in the air, or you can shake it out up in the air. Have a few ankle circles and some flexing and extending. So just your right leg, while you do this kind of loose, floppy movement, can you notice how your right leg, your right hip, your right waist, all of that side of your body feels? Does it feel different? There's no right or wrong answer. I just would like you to observe any sensation, because I'm going to try and remember what we just did on the other side. Okay, right foot stamps down on the floor. With the knee bent, let's stretch the left leg up. Again, you can use your strap here because I do want us to get the stretches, or if you're all right with the leg in the air, you can weave your hands behind the thigh. And keep the toes pointing back. So at the moment, this is not replicable as a standing posture, but, well, it actually is, but the balancing foot would be the one that's on the floor. And it would be very, very hard to do. So just holding on and getting a decent stretch. You can draw the leg further in if you want more. Or you can bend the knee. If you need to back off, you can take the leg away from the body, but I would like you to keep your foot switched on, please. So once again, in order to get a sense of what this posture, standing staff, would be like if you were standing up, however much you need to bend your left knee, see if it's possible to lengthen out your right leg and point the toes up as if your right leg was standing on the floor. You may have to bend your left knee, but you are absolutely welcome to hold on to that left leg with the strap or with the hands, because when you're standing, this posture is called standing staff. It's fine to do it with a strap. And of course, standing staff is often with a bent knee as well, so you have that option there. We will try all of these variations. Stretching back now. Let's take, if you need, rebend your right leg, and let's take the left leg out to the side. Take it out straight to start with, and just get a bit of a longer stretch. Just take a moment to get that stretch. Keep the feet switched on as best you can. Keep the abdomen just a little bit working. What I'd say is I'm offering you a lot of instructions here, so do what is making sense to you, because there's going to be opportunities, and obviously there's a video as well, which even if it doesn't go on the public internet, will definitely go on the our shared playlist. From here, if you want to, let's make that frog's leg. So hinging your lower leg from the knee, just bring the leg to a right angle and keep that foot stamping out to the sides of this posture, Krishna. If you're able to here, and you can hold on to your left leg if it's very heavy and you're struggling to keep your right leg on the ground, see if you can extend your right leg, point the toes up. That's going to help bring your right hip back to the ground. And this is your Krishna balance, lying on your back. Obviously, we're not doing the arms at the moment, but we will bring the arms in. Lovely. Then we make this into reclining flamingo, which is our hip compression. So if you just weave your hands either behind the thigh or around the shin of the left leg, squeeze that left knee right up towards the armpit as best you can. This is a variation on flamingo. Flamingo pose is actually a really complicated bind where you would, it's very complicated. You wrap your left arm around the inside of your left leg and then bind your right arm behind you and behind the hands. It's really, you have to warm up a lot to find the bendiness, and you need to have extremely long arms. So this is the other version of flamingo. Really good. Let's bring the knee back to center, rebend your right leg for a little bit of anchoring, lengthen out your left leg along the floor, or hover it or wave it in the air. Have a good old shake out of the left leg. You can do your ankle circles and your hinge, your flexing and extending, and whatever feels good for you. And then put your left foot flat on the floor next to your right one, hip distance apart, and just notice how both sets of legs feel, because there's quite a lot of work that we've just done. So hopefully they feel quite warm, but not knackered. Let's take the arms out wide, feet separate, and roll some rounds of wipers just to release any tensions that built up in the back. All balance work is inherently core work, even when you're lying down. In your efforts to not roll over, to work with different sides of the body, you have to stabilize. And in some ways, when you're lying down, because your feet are not grounded through anything, even though your whole body is supported, your feet aren't grounded. So you have to use a different kind of stabilization. As I say, if today the engagement down the middle of those sort of abdominal muscles, the pelvic floor muscles, the deeper muscles that stabilize you, if that wasn't coming to mind, don't worry, because they work regardless of whether you use them or not consciously. But it will come as we practice. We're just enjoying your wipers for a moment to free up any tension. Let's do, I want to do reclining eagle pose with you. I really can't remember whether we've done this before. I think we did it once on a Monday night. Eagle pose is a standing balance. And it's a little bit like tying your arms and legs in knots. So don't panic if it doesn't make sense. Also, it is quite strong strengthener for your abs. Really, like, Very quick way of strengthening your abs. Before we do legs, can we just practice arms? So you need to bring your fingertips pointing up towards the ceiling, arms extended towards the ceiling. Then you take your, for example, right arm behind the left arm, or right elbow underneath left, and then swizzle the arms around. So either the backs of the hands are touching or the fronts of the hands are touching, depending on how wavy and long your arms are. If this feels really bad on your shoulders and very uncomfortable, you can do genie arms instead, or Cossack arms. That is also an option. You need to press the hands in towards the elbows so that they're very, very switched on. So it's a strong arm strengthener. That's your arms, and we switch sides. You can release them now, otherwise they'll get tired really quickly. Let's do legs. So pick up your legs towards the ceiling. You're going to cross. Let's do right leg over left, like you're sitting in a meeting with your legs crossed, fully crossed. And then if it's possible, not everyone can do it, you can wind your shins together as well. Not everyone can get it there. So one cross or two crosses, whatever you can manage. Now your knees want to go at right angles to your hips to the best of your ability. So it is quite hard once you take those knees in line with the hips. You can keep the feet on the floor if this is already too much work. Now wind your arms together. So we'll take fingers towards the ceiling, and it's going to be left arm underneath right arm. Swizzle the arms together, and you need to lift the elbows. So you're looking right into the crooks of the elbows. Press the hands together and squeeze in. You must keep breathing into the chest. There's a lot of work just lying here like this. I'm reasonably strong, and this is a lot of work. If it's not enough work, then without hunching your shoulders and without straining your neck, you can squeeze your knees and your elbows in towards each other, make a little ball. It's a strong abdominal position. Normally, if you turn your feet on, we would do this standing on one foot. When you're ready, release, slowly untangle, release the arms and the legs, shake them out really, really hard. I think reclining eagle is a beautiful way of doing eagle, but it is really, really hard. Let's have another few rounds of wipers to release. So we're just going to lengthen our abdomen. If you don't want to release, if you want to keep the heat in, absolutely. Eagle is the hardest one. We're going to do lying down. We will not bring it standing today. Maybe as we get closer to Christmas, we'll have a go. Might find it easier standing, actually. Okay, other side. So when you're ready, legs come up, cross, left leg over right or right under left, depending on how your brain works. So left leg over right, swizzle. They might not swizzle the same this way around. Then arms, left arm over right, swizzle. You can do genie arms. Now make sure that the knees are drawing back away from you a little bit over the hips. Elbows drawing up a little bit, so you're gazing into the crooks of the arms. That is already a lot of work to hold here and breathe. If it's not enough work for you, scoop your belly in and squeeze elbows and knees towards each other into a little tiny ball, and switch on the leg that you can see, switch on the foot that you can see. One more breath if you can manage. And release, untangle, shake out. Ooh. Shake out, arms out wide. Let's have a deeper twist. Knees together, feet together. And on an exhale, we're going to lower both sets of knees over to the right. If that's too deep, please separate the knees out a little bit. Make it more of a wipers position. Let your arms and your shoulders rest to the ground. Turn your head to the left. We'll just be here for a few breaths. So hopefully abdomen, legs, I mean, really everything should be feeling reasonably warm. I've got all the windows open because I've got a client coming after this. So it's hard for me to tell whether I'm fully warm or not. It's not cold today, but hopefully you're feeling sort of joints already. You ready on an inhale? Let's come back to center And then roll the knees over to the left, separate them if you need to, and then turn the head to the right. So we are going to do a flow, balancing flow, just after this before we come to all fours, a little bit of work in a different permutation. So do rest yourself in this posture. I don't think that anything that we do is as hard as reclining eagle. I think reclining eagle for me is very, very strong. I really love the kind of strong that it is. It feels very strengthening, effortful. But I would say that everything from here, as far as I'm concerned, is far more accessible than that. Okay. Let's come to center. So before we do a little flow, one last reclining balancing posture is reclining pigeon. So this is the perfect way to get your, to replicate standing pigeon pose, which is a balance, and also get a bit of a glute stretch with some strength. So cross your right ankle over your left thigh, and we're not going to use arms. In this case, we are going to bring hands to heart with the thumbs resting on the breastbone and the elbows out wide, so not tucked in. Now you're going to pick up your left foot so that the knee comes just over the hip to the best of your ability, and you're going to turn on both of your feet. This is standing pigeon pose. If you imagine yourself, close your eyes, imagine yourself standing on your feet. You sit into chair pose like you're sitting on an invisible chair, and then you cross your right ankle over your left thigh, and it feels, it's a lot, it's not anything like as hard as it sounds. I mean, it's not easy, but it's also not anything like as hard as it sounds. There's a twisted variation, but we're not going to do that here. So hopefully you can start to feel that warmth. When you're ready, untangle the legs, bring both feet down. You can release the arms if they're tired, and just take this over to the other side. So left ankle over right thigh, behind the knee. Hands come to the heart, thumbs can rest on the breastbone, elbows are wide. So press the hands together, your shoulders already switch on, and then pick up your right foot, switch both the feet on properly, like you're standing on the floor. And bring the right knee just over the hip. The hardest part for me is controlling how far in the knees come, because I'm very comfortable in a squat, but it's a lot more work to discipline yourself to keep ankle in line with knee and knee in line with hip. So that's when we did a sequence earlier on. Just make sure you're breathing. We did a sequence earlier on, and I was mentioning we need that discipline of keeping the knee over the ankle. That is essential, and we need to really work on that going forward. Okay, let's release. Shake out the legs if you want to. So through all of these, this next little sequence, it's not a huge sequence, just need to keep yourself shaking out and leave it out if it doesn't feel good, because this work can be much harder lying down than you would think. So I'm going to lengthen out both sets of legs because I'm imagining I'm standing. Hands come to, let's bring the hands to the hips so the elbows can just rest down on the ground, just as we would if we were doing any other balancing posture, and both feet are switched on. Let's pick up the right leg and bring the knee just over the hip. So this is our standing staff pose, first variation, gazing up at the ceiling. Let's keep the eyes switched on, find your horizon point exactly as if you were standing. And from here, see if to the best of your ability, you can lengthen up that leg. It doesn't have to be fully lengthened, just a bit lengthened. Doesn't have to come to right angles. Re-bend the knee back into first variation standing staff, and then place your foot wherever you would normally put it for tree pose. You're just going to bring your foot to the outside or the inside of your ankle, thigh, or shin, but not on the knee. You can give yourself a hand just like you normally would if you were standing. Bring your hands to your heart, find your tree pose lying on your back. Bring your hands to your heart And based on how much space you've got around you, do some breathing exercises. So you can inhale to circle the arms up forwards or around to the side, bring the palms together, and exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Gently draw the belly in, 3 breaths. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale to the heart. And one more. Inhale up, keep that left foot switched on. Remember, it's standing on the floor right now. Exhale, hands to heart. Gently release your right leg, lengthen it out, keep your hands at your heart. And then hands come to the hips, switch on your right foot. Bring your left knee just above your left hip. Keep that foot switched on, standing staff. Keep breathing, draw the belly in. Bring your leg as straight as you can. This is a really, really difficult posture. Standing staff, the variation with a straight leg is very hard work. Lovely. Rebend the knee back to our first variation of standing staff, which I much prefer. And then rotate the knee out to the side and just find your tree posture. Your foot doesn't need to hover off the ground. It can rest on the floor, so you don't need to be holding the leg up. Just find your version of tree. You might find when you're lying down, you can do tree with your foot right tucked into your thigh, and it might help you find that posture standing if you want to. Let's bring the hands to the heart. Eyes on your horizon, which is the ceiling. And let's inhale, wave the arms up in whichever direction you have space for. Palms together. Exhale, hands come to heart. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time, inhale, circle up. And exhale, hands to heart, release. And let's lengthen out both legs, point both the toes up. Reach the arms to the best of your ability over your head, either towards the ceiling or back behind you if you've got room, and just stretch out your whole body. Spread the fingers as well if you can. We're back in standing mountain pose. Tall mountain, just lying on our backs. Knees hug in towards the chest, have a good old rock and roll. So the interesting thing is when you do your balances, well, I've noticed this, doing the balances lying down, my lower back needs to stretch out in exactly the same way as it does when we do them standing, because they are the same postures. It's not as strong, but it still needs that stretch. Lovely. Very, very nice. Good work. So let's roll over onto all fours. We are going to do some cat-cows and tiger balances. If your ankles and not ankles, if your knees and wrists are not into it, you can do your cat-cow stretches seated. You can skip tiger stretches if you're not into it today, or you can do this on forearms, preferably elevated on blocks, but you don't have to be elevated on blocks. We're going to do a little bit of forearm work as well before we come up. So knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, standard cat-cow, however you enjoy it. Let's inhale to lift the heart, lift the tailbone, gaze forward, exhale to round the spine, lift up high through the spine, spread the shoulder blades, press into the hands, make a lot of space. Just keep rolling through, opening up. As you inhale, rounding as you exhale. Stretch out the spine. In yesterday's class, of which the video is on the YouTube channel, and I really recommend everybody, I'm going to say this, everybody really could benefit from some of the work that we did yesterday. This rotation of the shoulders when you're in cat pose with spine lifted, the way that your shoulder blades wrap around your chest and your arms stretch into the ground, you can pause and notice that sensation. That sensation is key for strengthening up your upper body, and it will make your downward facing dog proper, and it will make your shoulders very strong and mobile, and it will also make your plank proper, much more easy. So focus in on this rounded sort of doming along the top of the back, not as extreme as that, but close. And try and introduce that into when we do dolphin, when we do downward facing dog, when we do plank. Cow pose is your reference. For most balancing work that we're going to do coming up, Cat pose is more your reference, but actually what we're looking for is neutrality. Anyway, one more round of cat-cow. We're going to do tiger stretches. So if you need to massage out your wrists, please do. Let's come back to center. And this is a balance, isn't it? So let's extend left leg. You can keep the toes on the floor if you're feeling well wobbly today. Pull your belly in like you're trying to scoop it off the floor. Extend your right arm, gaze down at the floor. So much strength and so much balance here. So just, this is core strength. To the best of your ability, keep your hips lined up with your mat. And I know only too well that that is extremely hard, but set it in your mind that that is what you're working towards one day and try your best. When you're ready, just switch sides and keep the heat in. So don't stay too long. Switch sides. Press that right foot away, toes pointing down. Remember, you're just imagining now that you're standing. We can do this posture standing. I mean, obviously we wouldn't have the hand down across, but we can. Release. Sit, take your knees out wide, toes together, sit your bum back, and let's have thread the needle in child's pose. So we'll take the right arm up towards the ceiling and exhale to thread it underneath the left. Just want to release the arms a bit. It's surprisingly hard work when you put a lot of effort into cat-cow and tiger stretches. It is surprising how the shoulders switch on, especially if you pay attention to that doming. Not going to stay here too long, so just have one more lovely deep breath. If you want to skip dolphin, you can stay here longer and join us after dolphin. We'll be coming up to standing to practice our standing flows. So when you're ready, let's just press into the left hand and switch sides. Inhale to draw left arm up. Exhale to sweep it underneath the right. As far as it'll go, bring your body weight down onto your left upper arm. And you know you can intensify it. Even this variation of thread the needle can be intensified by pressing back the top of your left hand into the ground. And that kind of switches, it just switches things on. I personally think this is a really good posture to, if you're holding it, why not rest into it and get the stretch? If I want to work and thread the needle, then I'll do the dynamic variety flow. So one more breath. Really nice. Untangle. And we're going to combine our inversions and our back bends in this next little sequence. So it's not a huge amount of back bending today. Let's just bring hips over knees and slide down into melting heart. And I would like you to think that it's the opposite now of that doming. So this is more like cow pose. Let your chest sink towards the ground. Let your shoulders draw back and down. You can have your head on a block if it's too deep. Shoulders draw back and down, squeeze around the spine. Let your lower back get a really good arch. You can really push your bum right up towards the ceiling and press into the tops of the feet if you want to. I don't normally bother, but you can. So this is a back bend if you let it be. Okay. So let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders, elbows lifted, just like we did yesterday actually. And then just lift your head and place it somewhere between your hands. It's going to be ahead of your hands. You're going to be making a triangle with the top of your head and both your hands. Just gently place the top of your head on your mat, not your forehead. Top of the head. You'll feel the little flat bit at the top of your head when you get it just right. Don't put too much weight down. You can just, this is rabbit, you can just stay here. This is a nice inversion. I like this inversion. You can leave it out if you don't want it. If it's not your cup of tea, please. This upside down work is optional. I mean, everything in a yoga class is optional, but particularly this. Lovely. Let's tuck the toes.
Roll back off the head, just keep the forehead on the floor, come into sort of a half a child's pose. It's just a way out of rabbit. We've not been in rabbit for very long. We just want to not come out too quickly. And we're going to make our way towards dolphin. So take the hands forward a bit, well, all the way forward, spread the fingers and come up onto all fours, let your head dangle. Gaze between the knees and bring your forearms down. So forearm dog, tuck the toes. I know this is hard on shoulders. We're not going to stay for ages. I'm just going to count this down when we're in there from 5. You don't have to stay for 5. Tuck the toes, keep that head fully relaxed between the knees and then lift the knees up high. And don't think about that pulling of the shoulder blades around the chest. Draw those shoulder blades really broad. Pull the belly in, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring the knees forward and down. Untuck your feet, walk your hands back into your high kneeling position, upright, gently, go lightly. Step your right foot forward, fingertips to the floor, tuck your left toes, step them forward into ragdoll, knees soft, upper body dangling. So see how we're slowly coming out of our inversions here. Staying upside down a little bit more. And let's inhale to bring the hands to the shins, nice long spine. And we're bringing the head even with the heart, halfway lift or monkey. Exhale, release from the hips into your forward fold. And inhale for monkey. So just do a few rounds of this. Exhale to release, just circular movements almost. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, monkey. Next time you're in your halfway lift or monkey, stay for a breath. And then we're going to come all the way up, soften the knees. Inhale, circle the arms up, come slowly, reach up to the ceiling, standing mountain. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Nice, very nice. And have a little reorientation. So if you need a swing out, if you need any kind of a stretch, a shake, a wiggle, or a jiggle, do it, take your time. We're going to do some balancing work standing. So we need to have a combination of muscle memory, the feeling of flow that we had with a sequence and the sequences of balances that we did lying down. We're not going to do all of them. We're just going to do some of them. And we're going to do it the way we normally do with the lifting and the lowering. And I'd like you to stay with what's comfortable today. So you can challenge yourself if you're feeling lighthearted, but if you're not, there's no point getting the strap on because it'll get harder. Use a wall for balance if you need it. So find a gazing point on your horizon. It's not me because I could be very wobbly today. Nothing that moves. Just a comfortable, broad horizon. Usual starting point. Feet underneath the hips are a little wider. And as you inhale, keep your feet clamped. Inhale to draw the arms up. And exhale to circle them down in whichever way you have room. So you can go up and down forwards, you can go out to the sides. So inhale up. And exhale down. Can we move away from flinging and make it into a circular movement? Inhale with the breath, circle up. And exhale with the breath, circle down. And focus, please, on that region between the rib cage and the pelvis. Your center of gravity shifts. When you take your arms up, it shifts up. You can feel the belly lift a little bit from the inside if you pay close attention. You can have some softness in your knees if you want to. Continual movement. When you're ready, you can start to raise your heels as well. They don't have to come very high, but it's not a hoik. If you hoik, you're going to lose your balance very quickly and then lower. When you make your movement into a continuum, those extra milliseconds gives your brain a chance to figure out what the actual, etc., your body is actually trying to do and how not to fall on your face. So up, lift the heels. Now when the heels come down, see if you can shift your weight back and lift the toes. Inhale, come up onto the balls of the feet, lift the heels, doesn't matter how high. Exhale, roll the arms down, come onto the heels, shift the weight back with the toes. So it sounds like a lot. It is a lot, but actually doing it is not as much. If your arms get tired, please bring the hands to the hips. Last one. If you can, take the arms up, keep your eyes on your gazing point, hold position, strengthening for your calves. Exhale, release, circle down. Hands come to the hips. Let's do our balancing flow. As you inhale, shift your weight into your left leg, lift your right knee so it's in line with your right hip. Hold here, keep good integrity. So ankle under knee, knee lined up with hip, foot switched on. If possible, see if you can lengthen out that leg, point the toes upwards. This is hard, so you might need to lower the leg a little bit. Keep breathing, and if you can come into your version of tree, you can break these up if you'd rather not do it all at once. So we play, balance is play. We've done all the strengthening and all the stretching. This is just playtime. Relax the shoulders. Do whatever amuses you. Some swears, some nursery rhymes. Hands come to the heart. If your leg isn't tired, hands come to the heart, 3 circles. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. You can release your leg if you're getting tired. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart. Release the leg. Have a swing out. Release your gazing point lest you get a headache. Floppy swing. Floppy swing. Get rid of the tension. It's such an amazing, balance is so amazing for your body. It's worth it. So let's come back to hands on hips. This is the last thing, and then we're going to close with some breathing exercises. So hands on hips, shift the weight into the right leg. You can keep those hips as steady as you can. When you're ready, let's pick up the left knee, lift it, knee in line with hip, knee in line with ankle. Really disciplined little maneuver here. We've got weeks and weeks to practice, but intention should be there. If possible, lengthen out the leg. It doesn't have to come high. This is really hard work. If you're not warm, it's morning time. And just below, toe pointing upwards. And then when you're ready, just make your way to your tree. So I don't want you to tire out in standing staff. One of my sides is much less balanced than the other. There we go. When you're in your tree that you like, hands come to the heart. And then if you want, circle the arms up as you inhale, continual movement. Remember, if you hoik, you might lose your balance. Hands to the heart as you exhale. 2 more. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Release. Pause. Keep your hands at your heart, and you can make a choice now. I'm going to do some breathing exercises to close, just standing. If you're getting on really well with your balances and you would rather do that whole on each side again, you can do that. There's nothing to stop you. You can leave the meeting, or you can stay in the meeting and do that. But I'm just going to stay on my 2 feet, keep my hands to heart, 5 rounds of breath synchronized movements. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, arms go out wide. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, hands to heart. Please work on that continuum of movement. Inhale. Exhale, wide. Inhale up. Exhale to the heart. Inhale. Exhale wide. Inhale up. Exhale to the heart. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale wide. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart. Pause for a moment. You can release your hands if you want to. Just check in. How does the body feel? How does the mind feel? Gather any information that you have. Doesn't matter what it is useful. And we'll finish with just hands to the heart, and I'll say thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you're in any doubt about the benefits of balancing, strengthening, stretching, it's incredibly deeply valuable for the whole body. So I hope that was good.